All right, so let's start with the NFC North. Could be one of the better divisions in all of football. We know the Packers are head of the class right now since they just picked up Micah Parsons. What a get. They are the favorites to win the division at plus 170. Win total set at 10.5. The Lions losing some coordinators, but still close to the top. They are 2-1 to win the NFC North. Total of 10.5 for their win total. Vikings plus 320. Bears plus 625, and both of their win total set at 8.5. So that should give you a pretty good indication of how good this division will be. So, Jenks, I think you're pretty high on the Packers here. Are you picking them to win the NFC North?
I think so. Although I will say that, part of it is I don't want to get caught up in the Micah Parsons excitement. And when you look at the number, like we saw a rush of money come in on Green Bay when that deal was made, right? So I don't necessarily like the value at plus 170. I do like when I have tangible things I can look at. And when you look at the Lions, like the Lions are loaded, but at the same time, when you lose both coordinators, like that's very difficult. We saw that with the Eagles after they were in the Super Bowl, a couple years ago, and they took a bit of a step back because it took them time to sort of adjust and get it right. And so defensively, Aaron Glenn's gone. Now Ben Johnson is gone. And Ben Johnson in particular, I think, is such a huge loss because he has such a creative offensive mind. I mean, he was using guys to catch passes on the O-line last year. Like Penei Sewell would catch a pass and go on the end around or something ridiculous. Like, it's very difficult to have that sort of creative mind and also be successful at the highest level of football. So because I don't know how much the Lions are going to miss those guys, the talent is there. I think for me that I give Green Bay the edge in that area just because there's more knowns, if you will.
Yeah, I think so as well. My one drawback would be that the Packers have proven that sometimes during the regular season they're not at full steam, but they really lock it in during the postseason because I think people forget just a couple years ago they narrowly lost to the Niners in the divisional playoffs. Niners went on to at least play in the Super Bowl, and then last year, they lost to the Eagles 22-10, which looks bad on paper, but everybody got boat raced by the Eagles, so no shame in that. So I certainly think they have high end potential for the Packers. And here's the other thing. We talk about timing being important for futures bets. If you think the Packers win on week 1, they have a home game against the Lions. We get a head-to-head matchup of the two teams that are expected to finish 1 and 2 in this division. So I think if you're going to play the Packers, obviously play it now. Because they are at home. They are sizable, or I think the line's 2.5. 2.5 point favorites at home against the Lions. So you play it now as opposed to waiting after this game, unless you think the Lions pull off the win. But I do think week 1 of the season is a tough one, especially going to Lambeau, and especially when you are working in new coordinators. Should be noted that Aiden Hutchinson at least is back. He will be a force to be reckoned with on that defensive line for the Lions. But still, I'm with you. I think I'm going to be on the Packers as well.
Yeah, I think it's the way to go. But then again, when you look at the win total for the Packers and Lions right there, both at 10.5. So Vikings right behind at 8.5 and Bears at 8.5. So when you talk about competitive divisions, I mean, this is definitely going to be right up there.
Yeah, and I do think for conversation's sake, I know it kind of looks like a 2-horse race on paper according to the odds. I do think that it's going to be really competitive. So I do think we need to mention at least the Vikings and the Bears for at least a little bit. I think the Bears do have some good high-end potential. Like, a lot of it will depend on Caleb, trying to know that offense from the jump. And I think those type of offenses can be difficult to learn in the first few weeks of the season. So I do think the Bears down the stretch could be a very good team. It's just if you're trying to win the division, obviously you need to win games at the first of the year as well. But the Bears could be a sneaky team if they make one of those wild cards. Vikings. This feels like the team that a lot of people are picking to win the NFC North as kind of like a trendy underdog, saying, okay, there's value at plus 320. A lot of people really believe in J.J. McCarthy, but Jenks, I just can't get there. Not yet. I understand their defense is going to be one of the best in the NFL. We know Brian Flores is one of the best at bringing pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and what a division, to have, that skill at your disposal. But I just can't do it. I don't think I believe in the Vikings as much as other people do. How about you? Do you think people are, reading between the lines a little bit too much when it comes to J.J. McCarthy?
Yeah, I think it's just easy to project when you've never seen the guy on an NFL field during the regular season. Do you know what I mean? Like, he may well be fantastic this year. And we've seen, especially these quarterbacks who have an extra year of experience or at least learning the playbook, and it was banged up last year, and they come and they perform maybe above expectations. But when you have Jordan Love and Jared Goff and even Caleb Williams in the same division, and you're the one guy who hasn't taken a snap in the regular season, and I'm supposed to trust you to lead your team to a division title, like, it's too big of a jump for me to make. So we know the defense is going to be great. There's no question about that. But in a quarterback-driven league, and that quarterback play is often the difference between winning and losing, I'm not going to trust a guy who I have not seen yet during the regular season. He could be great. He could be just fine. He could be bad. So I'm not rolling the dice on a guy who could go in any number of different directions.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, you do not have to bet on these now. Like, of course, the numbers will move. But if you want to see a little bit of J.J. McCarthy before making bets on the Vikings, I would not blame you. There is nothing wrong with that. The Vikings get the Bears on Monday night, September 8th. So that should be another great divisional matchup to start the season.